King, Jr. I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation.
It's very sick. Okay, umbrella. I can't hide. Okay, the man in the red hat is advising them how to put. Even if the girl was in there, this is what they do. She put up resistance, so this is her pay.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
It's very sick. Okay, umbrella. I can't hide. Okay, the man in the red hat is advising them how to put. Even if the girl was in there, this is what they do. She put up resistance, so this is her pay for putting up resistance and asking questions. Red hat.
Sorry. Very good evening to you. as we would say in Guyana, good night, because it's 9 o'clock. You know, that 9 o'clock hour. In my generation, at 9 o'clock, it was dead news time, and you knew that you were moving from evening into night. Very good night to all of you, and welcome to tonight's edition of Straight Up. And I am not Mark Benshop. I'm sitting in for Mark tonight, and of course, you're on to 107.1 FM, streaming on Facebook also. I want to welcome all of you down to the program tonight on a Friday night. Friday night is always a special night for Caribbean people, for Black and brown people all over the world. It's the end of the week, and you're looking to do your shopping or take a little talks here and there. But times have changed. You know, the pandemic has changed us quite a lot, and a lot of us now are indoors on a Friday night. But even if you're not indoors, because of the technology, you are able to join straight up from where you are. Again, welcome. And as we say, please share the link and let everyone know Straight Up is on tonight. You know, you just saw the clip there with the bulldozing of the homes in Linden, and we've been showing that clip over and over again so that it can sink into our consciousness. What is it we have to deal with in Guyana? So we'll spend the next hour chatting about our politics there in Guyana. I want to again thank all of you who have joined us. Good night, Emma. Good night to all of you. I have a couple of friends I expect to join me a little bit later. And we'll talk. You see that image, the bulldozing of homes. The last time we saw that kind of stuff was when they went into Buxton, at the back of Buxton, and bulldozed farmlands. And we are told that before they bulldozed those homes at Linden, they bulldozed some farmlands. And the people are justifying it. And I saw a column by Alan Fenty today. People were warned to move, and they didn't move. So you bulldoze their homes. That's a suggestion. We used to see homes being bulldozed in Soweto, Johannesburg, during the apartheid era. And those bulldozers represent something bigger than the bulldozers. The bulldozers are, if you will, a metaphor. They are symbols of what we are dealing with in Guyana. We're up against it in Guyana. You know, I've perused our history, going right back to the colonial period, coming through to the present. And we have had to deal with ugliness from the Middle Passage coming right through. I'm not making any excuses for any government. All the governments from the colonial times come right through have committed their share of atrocities. But I have to say that the government that has been in place from 2000 to now does not have its parallel in Guyanese and Caribbean history. I say that as someone who has studied this history, but as someone who has participated in the political life of the country as an activist for the last 50 years. I've seen the PNC government, I've seen the PPP government, I've seen the coalition government, and I've seen this latest PPP government. And this government is the most degenerate of all the governments. All our governments have had authoritarian streak coming through from the colonial times to the present. Partly because the political arrangement allows them to govern in an authoritarian manner. But this PPP government is a special one. And then let me explain to you why it's special. It has pushed the limits of the winner-take-all system of government. The winner-take-all system confers on the executive branch almost absolute power. And the PPP has pushed the limits. Check from 2020 to now. The opposition has not won anything within the system. They haven't gotten a bill passed. The speakership under Burnham, under Hoyt, under Granger, under Jagan, under Ramutar, under Jagdeo, it was understood that the opposition party in parliament, the largest opposition party, would get the speakership. That's not written in the Constitution. That's called political practice in the spirit of democracy. That was taken away from the opposition. Where is the Natural Resource Fund? Or any other legislation the PPP has used its one-seat majority in parliament to run roughshod over Guyana. Where you have in parliament the sectoral committees, which are chaired by the opposition, and the understanding that you were going to give the opposition some authority in a majoritarian parliament. That they passed their law changing the quorum. So in effect, where those sectoral committees in parliament, the opposition had some little leverage, they've now taken that away. Consultation, constitutional consultation with the opposition. They decide they don't like the opposition leader. And so for almost 2 years, they did not consult with him, which is it's written there in the Constitution that you have to consult. They decided not consulting. And they went ahead and they appoint a commission of police against the spirit of that consultation. They said it was governance by necessity. The country had to have a commissioner. And then when the opposition named Norton as the opposition leader, they then tell Norton, this is what you have to come and talk about. If you want to talk about other things, we are not going to allow it. the PPP has used up all the space within the system. Let's go outside of the system. Let's go outside of the system. Let's go outside of the system. Outside of the system, they've used bulldozers. They use the police against people in West Bobbies. They've prohibited people from going onto the streets to protest. They use the COVID and all kinds of things. So they've monopolized the space outside of the system. That is what you call totalitarianism. That the PPP, one party, has total monopoly on the political space. Totalitarianism. And they have governed as a dictatorship. What we say goes, and there is no check. Wherever there was a little internal check, as I say, they took it away. They've sought to manipulate the court, the legislature. When the appeal court ruled against them, one minister said they should fire the two members of the appeal court that ruled against them. They're saying that we have total control of Guyana. They have the majority in parliament, so they control parliament. They control the executive. They drive fear in the courts. Total power, totalitarian regime, governing in a dictatorial manner. The rulers govern like autocrats. So my sisters and brothers, we live in a totalitarian society, an autocracy in which the leaders are autocrats. As soon as they come to power, the DPP withdrew the charges against the president. He doesn't have to face the law. Ministers carry on, do all kinds of things, no investigation of them, but every day, every other week, an opposition person is paraded before the court. Rickfordburg, all the way in New York, the police issue a warrant for him. My goodness, that is what you call total control, totalitarianism. The PPP also has used that political space that they have to benefit one group in our society. Mostly one group. Flood relief, you go among African Guyanese, they complain, many of them didn't get it. You had no complaints from the Indian Guyanese community, they got flood relief. And the flood relief was done in a way that it benefited people who did a certain level of farming. Sugar workers, most of whom are Indian Guyanese, already got severance pay and so forth, but they got $250,000 each. And in some cases, one household. If you got 3 people who were show workers in one household, they got $250,000 each. They've set up a school to retrain them for special jobs in the oil economy. You check the budget. Most of the monies are going to the private sector. 90% of the private sector is controlled by East Indians and Portuguese businessmen and women. Policies are benefiting one ethnic group. Every time Mr. Jagdeo wants to make a big announcement, he goes where? Region 6, sometimes Region 5, and Region 2, 5, and 6. Predominantly East Indian regions supportive of the PPP. That's where they go. And they announce all kinds of things, stadium, this, that, all kinds of things. The other day we see that they announced that the riverine areas will get $20,000 and $1 billion in fertilizer. We're assuming that most of the people in the riverine areas are Amerindians. So Amerindians will get a $20,000. They will get $1 billion in fertilizer. And those fertilizers we know will be bought from East Indian business people. So really, you're giving $1 billion to your friends again. We are yet to hear of any policy that is directed at Afro-Guyanese. None. No policy is directed at African Guyanese. We see policies directed at East Indians mostly. We now see a little talks to Amerindians, 0 for the second largest ethnic group. So we see clearly ethnic discrimination in policy. Extrajudicial killings, people being shot by the police. Or in Boston, Peter Headley and others whose names I can't remember right now. All African Guyanese. You don't hear of any Indian Guyanese man being shot in his bed. You don't hear about extrajudicial killing among Indian Guyanese. So it is very clear that we have a government that is governing in favor of one ethnic group at the expense of other ethnic groups, especially African Guyanese. A government that is presiding over a state that discriminates against African Guyanese. After the election, you had uprisings. In Bad Settlement, Lusiknan. Did the police go in there and the army go in there with tanks? No, the people held buses, chase policemen, big policemen. But when the people at Belladrum and Hope Town and so on rose up, army was deployed. So, what we have is an ethnocracy, a government that is governing for one ethnic group. a combination of autocracy and ethnocracy. That's what we have been governed within Guyana. And that's a dangerous, a very dangerous combination, ethnocracy and autocracy. As human beings, as citizens of Guyana, we've got to push back. The time has come. I hear the term that is being used, boots on the ground, and I understand it, and I support it. We need a big movement in Guyana because we are up against a big dictatorship, a totalitarian government. We need a movement. We need boots on the ground. We need bodies on the ground. We need institutions. We need to get the word out. I can tell you as someone who knows something about movements. Movements cost. You have to have resources, human resources, financial resources, intellectual resources for a movement. We have to, in short order, build a movement because we are shut out from all the institutions. All 4 daily newspapers are owned by interests, either owned by the state or friendly to the state. The 3 independent daily news or privately owned daily newspapers are all owned by people of one ethnicity. There's a newspaper, a weekly newspaper called The Village Voice. That is the only independent newspaper. It publishes once a week, while the others are able to publish every day of the week. And it's not been for that newspaper in the last year. One ethnic group, one political persuasion, one political party would have total control of the media. Total. I'm using the word total, right? We gotta get boots on the ground. We gotta get bodies on the ground. We have to get media organs on the ground. There's a reason why they pick on Sherrod program and Kidaki program and Mark program and my program, because we are standing between them and total control of information flow or an opinion flow. The Village Voice is a newspaper that has been out there for the last year battling. It doesn't get any advertisements from the government, and no newspaper can survive in a place like Guyana without advertisement from the government and from the private sector, the small private sector. The small private sector, as we know, is in bed with the government. Village Voice gets no ads from them. Sisters and brothers, tonight we want to talk about how are we going to build this movement and sustain this movement. That's why I asked my friend Lincoln Lewis to come, my brother Lincoln Lewis to come on tonight. And I notice he's there. He's an old man, he just dropped asleep early. So let me bring him on. Lincoln, good night.
Good night, David, and how do you do?
Well,
like to the
I'm on the
audience.
rampage. I'm on the rampage. And
Well,
I want us, yes, there's a lot that we
I-
can talk about, but I want us to start by talking about the Village Voice newspapers. It's no
let
secret.
me say,
Hold on,
let me
hold
say that
on.
there are a number of persons.
Hold on before you go. It's no secret that you are connected to that newspaper. I want you to tell our audience the genesis of that paper and how they can help to sustain that paper.
Let me tell you,
Talk to us.
we started to talk. This paper came out after on the 5th of March 2020. I wrote an article on the 4th of March, and it was butchered by the media. And in that same article, and that same paper, I observed that there was also already a response to my article in the paper, which tells me that there was somebody who had access to my article even before it was published. It was that day that the decision was taken to start the initiative to form the Village Voice. After that incident, there are a few incidents that occurred subsequently where you had to leave the Starbuck News, the Kaituo News. I had to leave the Kaituo News because we recognized that at that juncture, the voices of the voiceless or the people who would have been oppressed.
Henry Jeffrey had to leave the Starbuck News.
Yeah, we had no reason. Our voices would not have been heard. It would have been stifled. So this caused the Village Voice this give birth, in fact, to the Village Voice. And in giving birth to the Village Voice, what has happened is that over the year plus that it has been nearly, in fact, next month will make 2 months since it's online.
2 years.
2 years, in fact, since it was been online. And it is a year and months since it has been publishing. I want to tell you that the challenges, we have an Herculean task in front of us. We have so many challenges. No newspaper in this country can run without ads, government ads primarily, government and private sector ads, if you want to make a profit. If you want to break even, you will have to get some private sector ads. In both cases, it is minimal, very, very minimal. In the private sector, it's minimal, in fact, and in the public sector, it is non-existent. The only state agency that we may have had an ad from it was the Election Commission. But since you have had a new CEO in the form of Vishnu, what's his name, is the same. We have not received not one ad from where they barely advertise in all the other papers. They have never given another ad to the Village Voice. So the situation, to some extent, when we come financially, it is critical, but we cannot allow it to fail. We have decided that we are going to go the distance to make sure that it remains on the stand. Because this gives voice to the voiceless. This paper does that. For us to not compromise on our stridency, we need to have support from the community that is being attacked and marginalized. And when I say that community I'm talking about, you can live in Guyana, you can live out of Guyana, you will be attacked so long you raise your voice, because Rickport Burke don't live here. And while he don't live here, what has happened? He has been talking or expressing his opinion, and the police came after him, even he's hundreds of thousands of miles away from Guyana. So what needs to happen with the Village Voice? The Village Voice need to, the community that is involved, that is marginalized, need to take responsibility and ownership to make sure that this paper runs, not survive, it runs. And that's what I would want to call on the citizenry, both local and overseas, those who are in Canada, United States, Britain, Great Britain, the Caribbean, even in Africa, wider field, or in Asia. We have to make sure that we have a voice, an organ that carries the voice of those people who this government has put in, as conceptualized and developed a program that they are prepared to sustain in oppressing and suppressing those who don't look like the hierarchy of the political party that forms the government.
So tell our audience how they can tonight, tomorrow, contribute to keeping this paper alive. You have a website, of course.
Yes, we have a website. For those who live overseas, we have PayPal that can be used to make your contribution. For those who are, you can buy paper, you can pay paper. You know, like I received, let me give you an example. I have got, for this paper to go, I've seen some initiative from a few people. Like there's one man at in the East Bank Bobbies. No, West Bank Bobbies, in the Tika Blaymont area. What he does, he buys 50 paper every week. He said, and what he does with that paper, he don't sell it back. He says he's in a position to distribute it. That is his contribution to Village Voice.
All right, Lincoln. Let me talk dollars and cents. Let me don't go wrong.
Yeah.
How much for a paper on the stand for a Village Voice paper?
$200.
200 Guyana dollars. So 200 Guyana dollars is $1 US, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. $1 US, right? You're printed for now 4 times per month. All right.
Yeah.
So if one were to buy a paper, that would be $4 US a month. So here's what I'm putting to my audience here. If you live overseas, if you live in America, all right, take out, or wherever, England or wherever, take out a monthly subscription. All right? A monthly subscription to the paper is $4. All right? $4. $4. All right? If you contribute a minimum of $4 per month, that's a contribution to 1 month's paper. A minimum of four per month. 4 per month, every quarter is $12. Every 3 months is $12. All right? You can take out a monthly subscription you can take out a quarterly subscription. A minimum of $4 per month or $12 per quarter. Come on. As I said in my opening, we need boots on the ground, but accompanying those boots on the ground, we need bodies on the ground, and we need information to fight back against the disinformation once we begin to put boots on the ground. We have to cover those boots on the ground. We have to let you know what is going on. We have to analyze the boots on the ground. The boots on the ground by itself is not the movement. The movement has to have a newspaper.
A vehicle. And the newspaper is the vehicle that carries your message.
And so here's my challenge to you. Go to the Village Voice, website, and you will see the PayPal button there, and take out a quarterly subscription of $12. That's give you the paper for 3 months or $4 per month. Those of you who have Cash App, you can use the Cash App handle. I don't have it before me here. The Cash App handle that you can use is, I'll have to send it to Mark, to Lemon, so Lemon can put it up. For those of you who use Cash App, I think the handle is BUX, $BUX. I think that's the handle, and that's where we can begin to do something. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when people ask you, what did you do to help the struggle? You will be able to say, I took out a subscription, a quarterly subscription, a monthly subscription in the newspaper that helped the struggle. I'm in Brooklyn. I'm in Toronto. I can't be on the ground in Guyana. I can't be part of the boots in Guyana, but here is how I can help the struggle. You see, we Black people, I know we have Indian comrades among us, but I want to talk specifically. We Black people do not. We have not gotten into the habit of supporting our institutions. That's something where we are being beaten every day. We are very loud. People, what are people doing? But you know, to put 5,000 people, 5,000 people, 5,000 people on the streets, it costs money. So go to Village Voice website and make your financial contribution. There are a minimum of $4. Make your financial contribution. You will see a PayPal button there. Go and make your financial contribution there. Those of you who are using Cash App, the handle is the $BUX. $BUX. Make your financial contribution there. Make sure you say this contribution is for Village Voice. This contribution is for Village Voice. Let's do it tonight. Let's do it tonight. Let's show our commitment. Let's show our commitment that we are serious. We are serious. Our immediate objective is to remove the PPP. Guyana cannot continue the PPP in office. We have to get them out of office. We have to get a government that is more representative of our views in office.
David.
Yes.
You know, our community need to be very serious about what we're doing. Let me point out to you, I believe that there are people in the government and supporters of this government who are conscious of the inroads, or what that Village Voice is one of the agency that is repelling them, or is standing up to make sure that they don't have a free ride over the community, over the marginalized people in this society. And it is for that reason, there are already fronts that are being set up to talk with us about buying out Village Voice. Buy it out. You know, we're going to pay you so much and we're going to buy you out. But when you buy me out done and we take the money and we hand it over to them, is that it now become a voice not for the people or the community that originally it was set up to speak on behalf or carry their messages. It now become an apology for the atrocities that are being committed by the government. This is what we are faced with. So it becomes absolutely important if we are going to continue and not only survive, but we are going to move with dignity to talk about what the things that we are concerned about. We have to protect Village Voice. We have to protect a number of agencies, like what you are doing, Politics 101, like what Ben Scott is doing, like what Sharon is doing, and Burke is doing. We have to protect these institutions. But in this specific case, Village Voice, which is younger than all of them, need to be given. We are asking that you give the requisite support, financial and otherwise, to it, to make sure that because that's the only print media, you know, among the rest, that carries not regurgitating a government's position, regurgitating somebody else's view. What Village Voice does is to do critical analysis of what is taking place in society and to push it, to push the dialogue or the opinions in a different direction. That's it. So we'll have to definitely, if we want to win both the battle and the war, we will have to make sure that we throw in the resources that are necessary. And as you said, the first thing that we need to do is to see how we can financially we can contribute to Village Voice by buying a paper each week, and that paper we can work out how you can get that. Even if you want to buy a couple of paper to distribute to the village that you come from, you know, we will try to, as far as practical, to get it to those villages. That's it. I'm not hearing you there, David.
Are you hearing me now? Yes.
Yeah.
Lincoln Lewis here. We're talking about the Village Voice newspaper. Many of you know about the Village Voice. You've read articles from the Village Voice. Go to the Village Voice website there, or go to its Facebook page. And you will see the PayPal sign there. Make your contribution, or you can make your contribution via Cash App, $BUX, $BUX, is the Cash App handle that you can use to make your contribution. Lincoln, we started by talking about that bulldozing thing at Linden. You have some connection to the Linden community. Tell us what you're hearing there on the ground in the wake of the bulldozing of those houses.
Let me say to you, those people have not stopped. They have not stopped. They are continuing that process of clearing the land, or lands that still have trees planted by residents. It is only unfortunately, they have not yet reached the houses that they are going to throw. They're going to throw them. Let me tell you what has happened. What has happened here is that the houses that are being thrown up, they're telling you that how it's unfortunate it was, and they are going to look after the people, they are going to find a spot for them, and so forth. But this is, people have signed for what they don't know what they will get. I've been talking with people. I have spoken to 4 of those persons. And when you ask them what is it they're getting, they can't explain what they're getting. Right? In other cases, what they do is that they work around where people, they find people on land that they consider that they will want to convert into another purpose. What they have done is to work around those people, work with them, and make sure that they continue to occupy the area, but they do some, they clear other around them and continue. Let me give you an example. This government intend they intend to share all these lands to their supporters and friends and supporters. Today I was called by one man who called me from 51. He said to me in Blackbush Polder, alongside my Bikuri area.
Lincoln, hold for a second there. It was just drawn to my attention. The Cash App sign is $BUXD. $BUXD. BUXD. Lemon, can you please put it up on the screen for us? $BUXD is where you make your Cash App donation. Lemon will put it up for us in a minute. Go ahead, Lincoln.
Yeah. This evening, the guy called me to say, you know what has happened? He said they have now decided that they're opening up new lands there for agriculture, for rice and what have you. And of what they're going to be doing is that they are going to be giving out one to every 50,000 acre they put 1,000 aside for the African community. They have already decided how they're going to split this land up. So, well, here's something. We're going to give them black people this little bit here to satisfy them, give them this little bit. But we gone with about 90% of the land. That is what is taking place. So what they're doing in Linden, the people who are going to go into Linden are not people who live in Linden going to get this land. It's people coming from Linden, coming out from outside of Linden. They're going to give them that land. You look at it. When you look at the sawmills that are in Linden that are benefiting from that same struggle of cheap electricity, nearly all the people nearly all the sawmills that are there, they went in after 2012 struggle. What the PPP did was to carry their people in and say, here's something. The Linden people don't want things for the electric prices go up. I will carry the people. You must benefit from it. And what they did is that what we call like the northeastern part of Linden, they have they have encircled that area with a number of sawmills who pull in a lot of energy, benefiting from the struggles of these people. The men who are on the land whose property has not been yet damaged. Yesterday they called me, and there was some of them. You know what they're saying? That they feel like come to Georgetown and go to the convention center and protest, because while they're telling people about the world, about their concern about food and food security, at the same time, the black people in Linden, this government mowing down their pawpaw, avocado, coconut, whatever fruits they are there, oranges and so on. So people are concerned, and this government will not stop unless somebody stops them.
This government will not stop unless somebody stops them. It is coming up to the 10 o'clock hour. We've been going for an hour. I want to thank those of you who have already made your contributions to the Village Voice Fund. Those of you who have made your contribution, thank you very much. Those of you who have not yet made your contribution, please do so now. As I said, a minimum of $4 per month, a minimum. That's 4 newspapers per month, a minimum. The Cash App handle is on the screen. It's $BUXT. If you use PayPal, go to the Village Voice Facebook page, and you will see the button there where you can make your donation via PayPal. Brother Lincoln, for those people in Guyana who would like to make their donation, is there a phone number that they can call?
I'm going to ask Mark to put up the number. I don't have a number at hand, but you can call 226-2481, a landline, and you can ask for Joycelyn or Atricia. 226-2481.
Let's do that number again.
226-2481.
226-2481.
You ask for Joycelyn or Atricia.
Joycelyn or Atricia. 226-2481. For those of you who are in Guyana, you can call that number and make your financial contribution to Village Voice. For those of you who are outside of Guyana, the Cash App handle is up there, $BUXT. Make sure you put, this is for Village Voice Fund, or via PayPal. You go on the Village Voice website or its Facebook page and make your contribution there. Lincoln, what do you make about this withdrawal of the private charge, the discontinuation of the private charge? That was
what I made of it. I want to tell you something, David. David, I want to tell you something.
Discontinued it. What do you make of it?
This lady need to be taken in the court. This is mischief in public office, and she need to be told. We need to take her to the courts. She decided after the last election that she will have nothing. The charges that were leveled against Orphanali while he was in opposition, she will withdraw the charges. But she looked at them before, in that specific case. I don't know why in former position now. Then the one against Nandalal, she withdraw it. Now this one against Navin Singh, she withdraw it. This private criminal charges. She decides if as an individual, I can carry the what we call the contractor or the agent of my employer to court. And I believe also, while she may have withdrawn it there, somebody need to carry the police to the police commission and them to court.
Yeah.
For what they do, what they're involved.
Let's put this thing in perspective. Let's put the thing in perspective. The DPP has the authority under the law to do what she did. But let's hold on.
She don't have the authority to abuse the law.
Hold on. This is a case of racism. A very sensitive matter in our society. This is a young woman who alleges that she was spat upon. This is a young woman who alleges she was called a monkey. The father of the accused apologized. If you as the DPP, you look at this matter is not a matter where somebody commit a simple larceny, a choke and rob at the corner of the road. This is a matter of racism, which our constitution, our laws are against. This is a global issue. This is a human rights issue. This person is a member of the police force. If you as the DPP will err, are you going to err on the side of the accuser or the accused? That is the question.
I hear you, David.
And I think that's
Well,
where
that brings me back, the point you have raised there. This brings me back to a point I'm making. And I hear you said that she has the authority to do what she did.
Yes, no, she has authority.
I don't believe she has that authority.
Lincoln, let's not beat around the bush. The Constitution gives the DPP too much power.
The Constitution gives the DPP, the Constitution gives the PPP, the DPP, the authority to operate within the confines and spirit and confines of the Constitution.
But that's not what I'm saying.
She can't feel this way and she do it.
Right.
Is she feeling this way and she doing it?
But
that's not what the Constitution says.
I am saying it goes beyond the law, Lincoln. This is more than just the law.
I agree with you.
Right,
I agree with you, go beyond the law. And I'm saying because of that, she has no authority to do what she did there.
Well, she did it.
But you know why she can do it?
Yes.
She can do it because we have a number of people who will not want to take a case and run up the mulberry, run around the mulberry bush.
Well,
we need to take her up.
Lincoln, the CCJ just recently said in a matter that went before them that the DPP acted outside of her remit. She has been censored by the court already.
Well, we can't see back.
And hold on. And the lawyer for Janet Bullers has said that he's going all the way to the CCJ. I'm saying there is the law, but there is also human right.
Yes.
And this is not a sort of violation of the law. It's a violation of the human right of that young woman.
Yes.
And I think that's where our argument and our pushback must be. The law can be a jackass, but human rights is not a jackass.
I hear you.
The law is often a jackass. And sometimes we confine ourselves to the law when the issue is more than the law. This is a moral issue.
Well, that's why I'm saying to you, David, I'm making the point that the law don't give you the authority. I am confident about that.
She must be.
But what gives you the authority is the politics behind she.
The court She must come before the court of public press and public opinion.
Well, come before all the courts, because even the pressure must be simultaneous to what going inside the court.
I understand that there were demonstrations in front of our office today. Our people should live in front of our office. That's what boots on the ground mean. We should live in front there, that every day she must pass and recognize that she has offended half of the population. Look, we got to talk straight. This is not a matter of law. This is a matter of race. She has to understand that. Sometimes we take shelter under the law. The law, as I said, sometimes is a jackass. This is racism. The use of a state institution. The use of a state institution
to
practice racism. That's what she has done. The foreign court in America and the border court from the mid-1950s up until the Rehnquist court of the 1980s, they said whenever a case of race goes before the court assumes that racism is embedded in the system. And so the benefit of the doubt during those years went to the victim, not the accuser. What this lady is saying to us is that racism does not exist. And she's using her authority to put the burden on the accuser rather than put it on the accused. And I think that's where we have to make our argument. I repeat, the court is also a jackass. We saw during the elections, the election 5 months, how the court acted conservatively, helped to slice on the Guyanese nation, an autocracy, an ethnocracy, a totalitarian government. The law can be a jackass sometimes. And then we confine everything to the law and not confine it to natural law. That woman's right, or God-given right. And she has taken away that woman's right, or civil right. That's what she has done. Civil rights says that whatever others enjoy, I must enjoy. If others cannot be called monkey, cannot be spat on because of their race, I should not be spat on. That's civil rights. She has violated that woman's civil rights. And that is what we have to, that's the issue. And that issue has to be fought on the streets of Guyana, not in no goddamn court. I rest my case.
I believe, David, that we have to run tandem, both tracks. I believe that the woman, let me tell you something. She will never be moved. Look how this government does it still. The moment that you raise a concern, they tell you bring evidence. But the other side don't have to bring evidence. They only have to say that it happened. Right? What if DPP has done there just now? She hasn't taken away anything from Ms. Bullers. She's telling Ms. Bullers that you don't have anything. You have no right to do it.
But I am saying Ms. Bullers got something. Ms. Bullers got a human right.
I am saying to you that when you see it that way, under the United Nations, under the protocols and laws and constitution, she don't see it that way. She's saying that you're not entitled in the first instance, right? Because and we have to understand how this is. Yes,
That
you have to
same
understand how
DPP
the woman see it.
That same DPP has defended the civil rights of East Indians. You give me the long list. She defended the constitutional right of the president against persecution. She defended Nandalal right against persecution. And she's not defending this lady right against persecution. Persecution. So she's prepared to defend the human rights of some people and not to protect the human rights of others. That is the goddamn issue. And I'm saying that the stupid law confers upon her an absolute authority. It confers upon her an absolute authority. And those are struggles that we have to fight in the long run. At some point, we have to go to that constitution, tear it up, burn it, and get a new constitution that is fair. We should not, in 2022, have a constitution that gives the DPP that absolute right.
Oh, you know, if you had the concomitant laws to hold you accountable, you know that would happen? That emerges from that constitution. Look, United States, they don't have a big constitution, but they have laws. They have laws that deal with these issues.
Lincoln,
and that's what we need. And what we just let me finish this one, Teddy. Let me tell you something. I have seen in the Constitution where it says about our bills coming from the what you call it, from the opposition.
Legislature.
Yeah, these bills, providing that they don't incur more expenses, budgetary expenses, you can pass. You understand me? You can pass the laws to meet them coming from the opposition, and I believe that is where the opposition has over the years have fallen down. The opposition has not brought the bills them to make them into laws to strengthen what is in the Constitution. Because we'll write another Constitution, you know. We're going to write another one. And when we write another one, we ain't get no law for support it. And they're going to do the same damn thing.
The laws are the creature of who runs the government. The coalition passed their NRF law. When they had a majority, the PPP come in and they changed that law. Let's don't fool our supporters. The law is not sensible. The law is a jackass. Because the law is the creature of who holds the majority in the lawmaking body. I'm saying that when we are telling our people that we should seek refuge in laws that are made to keep us down, we are wasting their time.
So what are your recommendations? What are your recommendations, David?
I am recommending that on this issue, which at the end of the day has to do with that woman's human right or civil right, that battle has to be fought outside the court.
I don't believe that people, as I walk around and I listen to people in this country about it, I don't believe that people don't want that. It is that what people need. People are looking forward for a fight, but then we can't fight on one foot. We have to make sure that we use on ours, that we use the law.
The law in any society changes when the people bring about the change. You study any society, study United States would not have ended segregation if there was not a civil rights movement. You have to have a movement to change draconian laws. You can't fight draconian law within the belly of the dragon. And I'm saying I don't have a problem in this case going to the court and going to the DPP. I'm telling the DPP already, especially the lady. The DPP already said in the recent case that she acted outside her remit. But who is going to fix the law? The legislature. Who has the majority in the legislature? The PPP. Is the PPP going to fix something that is against the party? No. We have to have a sweeping movement in Guyana to transform the legal framework in that country. And this issue, like I said, is a civil rights and a human rights issue. Not no issue of the law. The law will protect the DPP. They will say she acted within the remit of our authority. They will incorporate the limits of our authority. And ultimately, it is the parliament that will have to pass laws to limit her. And this PPP will not do it so long as she's serving their serving the purposes of their regime. Where does that leave us? Anyhow, Lincoln is a lawman. Lincoln is about the rule of law. And I like Lincoln because of that. But the law, Lincoln has often been a big jackass.
Well, David, I always believe that the law, where you can fight on law, you can't fight on one leg. You got to fight on all the.
I am not saying that, but one leg has to be stronger.
Well, we got to fight on all of them.
I am saying fight on all legs, but realize that one leg got to carry the struggle more than the others.
Good.
Those of you who have not made your contribution to Village Voice, please do so. Please do so. That's your contribution to the struggle. Black people, all you got to create institutions, and all you got to support your institutions. Whether the institution is the PNC, whether it's Village Voice, whether it's the other parties that you all like, you all got it. He who paid the piper calls the tune. If Indian businessmen got to finance the PNC and finance Village Voice and finance 107.1, then they control those institutions. If you all support those institutions, you all control them. And I'm telling you, a lot of times when we want to keep things going, sometimes we got to put our tails between our legs and go to Indian business people. And I got to be frank with you all. Because we have not gotten into the habit. We have not gotten into the habit of supporting our institutions. It's a habit, you know. It's a habit. We are too suspicious of each other. Well, if I contribute, they're going to take the money and build a big house. I am sure that has happened in the past, where you contribute to things and they take the money. But you know, it is, that's more the exception than the rule. So we got to change habits, man. We got to change habits. We can't want to go to the people who are battering us. We don't want to go to them to support our institutions. And this is a point what his name was making. I mean, we abuse you out, James Bond. But James Bond was making that point subtly. That you got to go to the Indian people because they're prepared to put their money. Black people don't put their money in things. And I'm saying you all are not millionaires. You all are not billionaires. You all are poor, humble people. All we're asking for is a minimum of 4 papers, which is $4 US, $4 US per month. You will get a copy of that paper in your email, in wherever you think. You will get a copy of the Village Voice once you make a contribution. So it's not that you're giving your money for nothing. You're giving your contribution in exchange for a product. Because we got to, you see, when I say the other day, I said black people must buy thing in the old village. You see how they went berserk? All of them, from top to bottom, they're frightened bad. When we support our own, I am not saying we mustn't support other people. The world is based on trade. You buy what you don't produce and sell what you produce. Economics is you supply yourself first and you sell the surplus. And we got to get into that habit, brothers and sisters. We got to get into that habit. We got to get into that habit. We got to get into that habit because it's a habit. Well, it's, what time is it now? Oh Lord, it's 10. I think we seem to be having some, it's 10:23. Lincoln, closing thoughts.
I want to start by thanking the audience, in fact, and more so the contributors to Village Voice, and to say to those who are mulling the idea whether they will consider or not, I want to tell them that I'm happy that they're even considering us. We need to work together on this project, and we can only do so by holding hands and crusade across the world to make sure that this medium that set out to carry your voice, your vision, and to speak of your orientation, survive and live for a long time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And
brothers and sisters.
we can do better. We can do better. I'm looking at the Cash App contributions that's coming in. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 contributions thus far. 6 people. I'm sure you got almost 600 people or more. I can't see how many people we have on the live here. I don't know. I can't see the PayPal contributions, but Cash App is only 6. We got to do better. We got to do better. We have to do better. I'm not allowing you all to get off with this. This is the test of our mettle as a people. Are we serious about this struggle? Are we just jiving? As we used to say in the old days, now is not the time to jive. Now is the time to help, to support. Lemon is saying that the people doesn't want us. The people don't want us. They're giving us some more time. They're giving us some more time.
What Lemon said just now?
Lemon said that the people don't want us to go till 11. Right. Lemon says the longer you go, the more contributions Village Voice will get. Right. Let me ask you this, Lincoln. You're a veteran, right? You're a veteran trade unionist. You're a veteran in the struggle for workers' rights, for people's rights, and so forth. As you look around your country today, and you see what is happening, are you fearful for the survival of Black people in Guyana? Well, let's start straight. Let's not beat around the bush.
I want to tell you that I have never seen in my life, I've never seen the Black community more vulnerable than this moment. I believe as I said earlier some years ago, that there was an organized, the PPP on the Jack, you had conceptualized, develop and implement a plan to to deny Black people economic progress in this country. It is not only economic progress, it means political progress too. This is where it reaches. And I'm worried because what people fall for, a number of persons coming out of the African community, they fall for a house and they fall for a car.
And why they shouldn't? Why they shouldn't,
right?
Lincoln?
When you take what they don't understand that when you take away that house, when you take away that car, what it means to you after you've gone right back to where you were, right? That's why quite recently I've been saying that you don't determine, or a Black man or African is not being defined by his pigmentation and the texture of his hair. It is that man is being defined by his orientation. And all these guys, you ask yourself, with all this wealth that is being thrown around, when you open the photo, when you open the papers and you look there, or you look online, when you watch it is one or two. There's one big group that is getting the hog of it. How do these people who in the PPP, who may consider their ministers and the whole position that they consider to be strategic, you ask them, show me one Black man, show me one among this whole thing that is taking place that is getting a sizable portion of what is being given out here. Ask them, let it show you. All that these guys are doing, they are there as window dressing and just looking out for themselves. They're not looking out for the community any longer. And this is where we need to expose them. These guys
you're
are
saying
not...
is the individualism that's a statement root here. Before you answer that, let me thank Ozia. Let me thank Ronald, Aubrey, Jillian, Keith, Artis, Darcy, familiar Darcy always contributes. Let me thank Rosamond. Those are the people who are seen here. Ozia, thank you very much. Ronald, thank you very much. Ronald has paid up for 1 year. He's paid up $48. There you go. Aubrey, thank you so much. Jillian, you're a darling. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jillian. Keith, thank you. Artist, thank you. Thank you very much. Daisy, I didn't pick you up there just now. Thank you very much. Daisy, Darcy, thank you very much. And Rosamond, thank you all for answering the call tonight. We are still taking contributions. Please go to the Cash App, go to the Village Voice website and make your contribution to keeping Village Voice alive. Lincoln Lewis individualism. But you know, when you talk to a lot of these Black people, they say, well, you all had power and you all didn't give me house and you all didn't give me car. What do you say to such a person?
I've been in this trouble for a number of years. Nobody gave me anything. I didn't look out for anything from anybody.
You mean you're saying that it's not a government responsibility?
I am saying yes, it's a government responsibility.
Oh, okay.
But then I'm saying to you that notwithstanding the government has failed in certain way, I have to look out for the community from which I come from. Because I'll tell you this, David, if the community is being decimated, if they and I consider myself aloof of that community. When I'm under attack, where do I go? There'll be no community for me to go back to have solace. I'm saying that regardless of what may have happened, we cannot just consider a house and a car as the beginning and end of our life, our livelihood. We have to look at other things.
I hear you, Brother Lincoln, but here's what I will tell those people. I will say, I apologize to you all for the government not looking after you all. Because in countries like Guyana, it is the government that must empower people. On behalf of them, I am sorry, but let us look beyond that and let us try to throw up more enlightened leaders. We don't abandon the community. Yes, we want house. Yes, we want car. We are entitled to it. That's why the WPA proposed cash transfers. That if you get $5,000 a month, a year, you can buy your house and your car. So, beg pardon for those who didn't have the foresight to recognize that government must be used to empower their supporters. But don't abandon me. Don't abandon us. Don't abandon us. That is what I will tell the supporters. I won't tell them Karen house is not everything. I drive in car and telling a man car is not everything. Lincoln, where are we?
Can I tell you this? Can I tell you this, David? David, in the coalition you get two David. You get David Granger and David Hinds. David number 1 and David number 2. David number 2 can apologize to the coalition. It's not me for apologize to the coalition. But let me tell you again. Let me make the point again that a car and a house, while they are necessary, right? When you come to the question of the cause, you don't undermine and destroy the cause for that.
I hear you. I just believe you must not sell your soul. You must not sell your soul. Lemon said we forgetting David Patterson, but you see, David Patterson was AFC. He wasn't APNU. So he would have been David too. But there was only one David one. Ryan Benshop, Jonathan Benshop, and Emma Benshop, the little ones, have contributed for 6 months of the Village Voice. If the little babies contribute, come on, please, y'all, please make a generous contribution to Village Voice. Lincoln. Yeah. We gotta that problem that we are seeing in the Black community. You know, it's a big problem, but you know, it wasn't always there. When I went up to Linden in 2012, me, Mark Benshop, and the rest of us went up there to give solidarity visible every day. There were more young people struggling than old people. That was just 2012. In the 2011 APNU campaign, them young people overs the dance hall, and put on the green and came out and walked behind us. Is there something that we are not doing in spite of the difficulties that we have with the individualism? Is there something that we are not putting our fingers on? Is there something that the people at Linden put their fingers on in 2012? And that the APNU put its finger on in 2011 that we are not putting our fingers on in 2022?
Can I say something that has happened?
Yes, the floor is yours.
Well, has happened from 2015. You see that thing that Mr. Green just said, that it's not the government responsible for finding jobs for people. When he went to the election and said what jobs he can create, that turned off a lot of people, because let me tell you what has happened. The campaign of 2015 was a campaign to win an election, to get political power to be used to empower people economically. Between 2015 to 2018, after that power was won at the ballot box, the leadership to organize these communities and keep them mobilized politically and economically, that was thrown aside. What they have done over the years is that they have just seen election. They have just seen politics as a machinery for election, but not a machinery to empower people economically. And those people who come out in 2011, many of them were there in the 2015 struggle, and they have disappointed the people. And many of them become dejected. Some said, well, was it? What happened? So be it. Because if I fight for power, if I fight with you, give you power, and you turn your back on me. I have seen a lot of things, you know. It's only that I don't talk about it. You know, I've had up for the years that they've been in office. There are people who don't take my phone calls at all. Didn't take my phone calls. And
Lincoln, listen.
And if they treat me like this, David, if they're treating me like this, what about the other their man down there? But I'm saying, don't give up. Don't give up. Let's mobilize. Let us mobilize.
We have to put this thing in context, and I think that's what you're doing there. Our political leaders have not always been good to us, but we have to push them to be good. That has to be part of our task.
Hold on, David. Hold on, David. Let me just make a point.
Yes.
You know why you stopped right at Chronicle? You remember?
Yes.
Why I stopped right at Chronicle?
Because you abuse the president. You abuse the president.
No, I abuse the president. No, I talk about. No, I never call the president name. I talk about that the political leaders must have testicular fortitude. And then get vexed about it.
What
right? Then get vexed about that.
What a big word mean?
Right?
I'm going to throw we out of the Chronicle. We did not give up the struggle. I think that's the example we want to give to our people. That this is not about personal hurt and all that kind of story, right? This is about a larger vision and a larger struggle. I am not going to allow my vexedness with the leaders of the PNC and APNO and AFC to give up on my people. Because as I always say, where I come from and where you come from and where the majority of we Mark and all we come from, the forces were stacked against us. We were not meant to be speaking as we are doing here tonight. And Mark Bishop was not meant to own a radio station. David Hinds was not meant to have a voice to speak nationally. And it is because of ordinary people's sacrifice.
David, let me just tell you, let me just give you one. I asked a man tell me that he was so mad when the elections were declared and the current government was sworn in. And I asked this man, I said, tell me where you get from the coalition. He said, you know where I get from the coalition? He said, I want, and he listed things the way he want, and he never get them. He said, but one thing I get. He said, you know why I vote for them? I vote for them because I'm sure with them in office, I ain't gonna lose another nephew. I ain't gonna lose a friend. He said, I didn't vote for them only because of what I need. But I vote to them because my life, and my friends and my family life would have been secured. Right? Yeah. So people look at this thing differently, you know. Right? He said, look, I'll tell you something, my whole household come up to vote. And we voted against it. We didn't vote for the PPP. You say, you know why we have voted for them? Because we frightened them. What they did in the past to we and our family, they will repeat it so long we give them power.
So you see what? Yeah, we got to be able to balance the thing, Lincoln. But look, leadership is important. People are inspired by ideas. They're inspired by example. And leaders have to understand that it's not about the individual. It's about the people, right? Look, I belong to the WPA. And I know that the majority of people, if they have a choice between voting for the PNC and the WPA, they're going to vote for the PNC. I understand why. Now, will I be vexed with them because they do that? No, I will continue to try to do my part to inspire them, all right? Because if my example could make them put pressure on the PNC to act more in their interests, then that is more than a vote. You see? And so it's that example that we have to give people. Look, people who we come on here every night, they don't owe we nothing. They already contribute to us. I was reflecting today on my Farm 2 teacher, Finelle Abrams. Every time I see the lady, I remember. I'm worrying, running around school doing all kind of thing. Watching them by gamble, gonna run behind them by playing cricket. Me can't make the team by going behind them. I mean, I'm doing good in my exam. And that lady put a ring on me ears till up to now when I was in the ring. And she said, she never used to beat. She said, you have a future. Farm 2. I was 11 or 12 years old or both. And she said, do not play with it. And when I watch myself, I remember that lady, the little Abrams, pull me ears and say, you have a future. Do not play with it. And so those people already contribute to we. Then owe we nothing. We, the leaders, owe them. And sometimes when I listen to our party leaders, they behave as though the people owe them. The people already make them who they are. They make us who we are. We could not be who we are. Somebody had to tell you, Brandon, you gonna be somebody. Somebody had to tell you that. Guyanese who did not complete secondary school now have a second chance at tertiary education. Guyanese who did not complete secondary school now have a tertiary education. Latecomers, we've been there and done that already. When you left high school and you couldn't think, Ascra used the whole lesson. You go to Ascra school and you pass and you get your GC. They got at many schools. There's nothing new they're doing. That's nothing new they're doing. We don't want them to fool us. Thank you very much for giving us a second chance. But we want more than that. We want more than that. We do not want handouts and little gimmicks. We want more than that. Let me thank some people. The Andy, Lord, I just be very careful not to call people name wrong. American students, and they say, that is not my name. It's Delandai. I hope I call your name right. Troy, thank you also. Thank you also. Curtis, thank you so much. Roxanne, thank you very much. Jennifer, thank you very much. Rennie, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. And those of you who contributed before, thank you so much. Thank you so much for answering the call tonight so that we can keep Village Voice. And thank Mark Benshaw, who gave us this platform tonight. We didn't ask him. And let me expound on this. We didn't call Mark and say, Mark, man, we want to do a fundraiser on thing. Mark called me during the week. And I invited him to come on to my program. But it was at the time when he had to do his chores with his children. And he called me to apologize. And he said, here is how I'm going to make it up. I'm going to give you my program on Friday night. And you decide what you want to do with it. And I decide that I am going to ask my brother Lincoln to come on and let's talk about the Village Voice. Let's talk about the Village Voice, right? And let's talk about how one Dotty can build the dam. And so we want to thank Mark Benshaw for giving us this platform to come to talk to you tonight about politics. In America, they do it, you know, they call it public radio. And you all know it. And every 3 months, the public radio have what they call the pledge drive. So we're not doing anything that we don't have a tradition of doing. But we want to thank Mark for giving us the opportunity to do it. Mark would say this platform is my own, and if you all want to come on, you all got to pay me. Because he got to pay bills. He got to pay, Mark got to pay for licensing Guyana. I don't want to call them big money. We got to pay for license. You know? And he gave us this opportunity. I can tell you all, to print Village Voice weekly, we gotta find, every week we have to find a minimum of $300,000, a minimum to print Village Voice. We put it out there. And Lincoln will tell you often we don't get back that much in sales. It means that we got to find that money elsewhere. We keep going every week. Business people will say, why are you running something at a loss? Lincoln would say, we're not losing because we are doing a public service. We're doing a public service. And you are doing a public service. Lincoln Lewis, come in.
Yes.
Talk to us.
Yeah, this year is there are challenges. I know every week we have to work towards finding that money. And not only that, we have to, as some people, when you talk to them about it, they said, look, man, I just read this on the paper, read this online, I don't have to buy paper. I said, no, people that produce this paper, we got to pay people. You can't say this thing is free. It's not free. We all have to make a contribution to make sure that it keep coming. Every week, from Tuesday to Friday, it is work the work is consistent. While people are producing news, there are about two of us, who are looking at raising money to make sure that when it comes on Saturday morning, when you pay when the paper goes to the printry, you get the money to pay them. You're getting money to pay them. And that's what we've been doing. And many occasions you got to call friends and say, put a piece. Let me see this thing how we go. Friends and comrades, you just got to do that. There are a few people who, you know, are generous enough who will come over and say, take a small piece.
Yeah.
Walk and come and say, you know, I bring a piece here I bring a contribution for Village Voice.
Yeah.
While there may be few, we are grateful for the contribution of these people. You calculate it, if we are talking about $310,000 every week, you are talking in 1 month, 4 weeks, you are talking about $1,240,000.
Yeah, which is about 600,000 US dollars. But it's worth it. The sacrifice is worth it. And now your contribution. Are you saying NPR? Yes, I'm an NPR junkie, and we all NPR people, we know. We make our pledge every week, every 3 months, whenever there's a pledge drive. I on Baltimore Public Radio, I do a monthly program there, the Political Hour with Dr. David Hinds, and whenever it's pledge time, we have to call on our Caribbean community to come up and to help us keep that program. And I've been doing that program now for 25 years on WEEA Radio in Baltimore. The Caribbean Political Hour with Claudette Lindsay. We've been doing that program 2 o'clock every second Saturday of the month. And we raise money to keep those programs on the air. Lots of people come on to the radio station and want to get rid of those West Indian programs. But it's the West Indian community that gives resources to keep those public radio programs on. So I want to thank those of you who have contributed. Those of you who have not gotten around to do it, please do so within the next day or so. And for those of you who've already done so, a big thank you to all of you. Lincoln, I have got to go because I got to write for Village Voice, right? So I got to go. I don't know about you. I got
one right too.
My brother Lincoln, thank you so much for coming on. And Mark, thank you so much for allowing us to come on tonight and to do this. And to you, the wonderful audience, I want to say, we love you. We love you. I don't play with poor people, and I don't play with Black people. I don't play. You always get me vexed sometimes, but I'll shake it off, because without you all, there could be no me. I'm so conscious of that. I am so conscious of that. I and people like me, Lincoln, Mark, and me, we are the fruits of the seeds that you all sow. We are the fruits. And so therefore, we thank you. We thank those of you who have contributed, we thank you. Those of you who have not contributed, we thank you in advance. Good night. Good night. And I hope we can do this again soon. Remember, I'm on Politics 101 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So you all can catch me there. And every now and again, Mark brings me on when he wants somebody to make noise, and I'm always available. Lincoln, last word.
Let me again thank you, David. You have done a good job. Let me say, Mark, you have always been there from since Village Voice, came out, since you were conceptualized and started. You have been there supporting us. For those who have been supporting us, for the contributors tonight, and to those who in the audience who are there even considering us, I want to say again, thank you for your contribution. And I'm looking forward that we will continue as we move on. You will bring not only your friends, but your family on board as we hold hands and crusade across the world to make this place, to make this world a better place. And more so, influence change in the society that the Guyanese society that we so long want to see as a better place that all of us can live with our children, families, and friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Rock steady. You better do good.
Take warning. You better take warning.
Our own Eddie Hooper.
Take warning. You better do good.
There you go.
Let your light shine bright. Let your light shine right. Respect your fellow man as you should.
Good.
Take warning. You better take warning. Take warning. You better do good. Let your light shine bright. Let your light shine right. Respect your fellow man as you should. The evil that men do lives after them. The evil that men do lives after them. Your evil today will blight your tomorrow. So do good today and avoid your sorrow. Take warning. You better take warning. Take warning. You better do good. Let your light shine bright. Let your light shine right. Respect your fellow man as you should. Take warning. You better take warning. Take warning. You better do good. Let your light shine bright. Let your light shine right. Respect your fellow man as you should.
This is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love 'em. I wanna rub and kiss 'em. I wanna rub and jam 'em. I wanna rub and rub 'em. I wanna rub my body on your body. Rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body. I just get paid. I want to play. The vibes is right. I wanna hug up tight. No time to waste. I wanna work my waist. So come on, babes. Give me a taste. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love 'em. I wanna rub and kiss 'em. I wanna rub and jam 'em. I wanna rub and rub 'em. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Well, no, I'm feeling, 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 I'm feeling.